Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new IronMan League Racing video. This is round number 3 around Mexico, one of my favorite tracks on the F1 games. And as you can see, it is raining for our 100% league race, last to first challenge together with our teammate Danny Beresne. And last round we made up some good points after having a relatively bad first round in Monza. In Brazil we made up for it with a 1-2 finish and scoring.
Oh.
And as you can hear Danny say, after last week our risky strategy paid off, but there is no way we are going to be starting on the slicks here, as it's not full wet, but as you can see, intermediate conditions. And into turn 1 the inside is covered off by some cars, so there's no way we can go down the inside there. I'm gonna brake late into turn 1. Unfortunately,
hit me.
I got hit a little bit there and we got sent wide into turn 1. So that cost us a few positions, but we're just gonna continue. No damage, of course, and we can just continue our journey. Just we lost a few positions. Istvan Pukki, one of our championship rivals, Ferrari Esports, of course, getting past us. And yeah, as you can see, we haven't had an ideal opening few corners. We got hit in turn 1, lost a few positions, and then we lost another position to Istvan there. And I couldn't really go for a move there because I was boxed in. So we are in P17 at the moment. I think we actually started down in P15 as we go around the outside of Tamas in the S section. A little bit of a touche, but enough space left on the outside there for him to comfortably go through. And now we are up to P16 again, behind Zaba Hegedus. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. Hungarian names are very difficult as he almost spins around. We go around the outside and up to P15. We're still side by side to the final corner, but we should be able to go on the power earlier, get a shorter line to the finish. And now we're gonna have to cover off any overtaking opportunities from behind, from Dylan Warren behind. And now we got Zoltan Boda ahead of us. We're in the slipstream and we're gonna brake much later. We're gonna go send it down the inside up to P13 and gain another position. We actually ended up gaining 2 positions on that opening lap there, even though it was a very frustrating opening lap for me there, because it felt like we could have been 5 positions further up. But yeah, just some unfortunate contact turn 1, and then also I think I positioned the car a bit bad in the following corners. As Istvan Pukki gets a big slide through the final corner, and we're right on his gearbox. Again, a little bit of a slide from him, and we're gonna tuck in the slipstream, turn on the overtake button, and try and stay in the slipstream all the way up to turn 1. We set the fastest lap of the race. Let's see if we can go for a move right into turn 1. Maybe we can make the same move as we did last lap. We can't. We're gonna go around the outside, and we're gonna have to leave space here on the left-hander. Otherwise, we will get pushed off in the right-hander here. Left Istvan a little bit too much space there on the apex, I felt like, and that's gonna cost us on the exit here. Ahead of us, they're fighting as well. Norbi Zabukonyi and David Vinze going side by side, the 2 teammates. And again, just very annoyingly, we didn't make the move on Istvan. And yeah, that's gonna cost us big because we used a lot of our battery there to try and get past Istvan. And now we're still not past. Into the next left, and then we're gonna go around the outside here. Unfortunately, we got slightly pushed off, and I had to take the escape route and give that position back. But you can see how much time we've lost with all of this, and we still did not get Istvan. It was just very frustrating. Again, not just the opening lap, the third lap here, very frustrating as well. We're gonna go around the outside in the stadium section. This time we do get left enough space, and we go up to P12. We still have the fast lap of the race, but on this lap we lost so much lap time. You can see we did 28.8 on lap 2, and we do a 31.3 on the third lap. So I basically lost at least 2.5 seconds, if not more, on that lap. At least we've got some clear air ahead of us now, and as you can see, lap 4 We are behind David Vince, and we're gonna set the fastest lap of the race once again. And we're gonna go for the move into turn 1. You can see our battery is quite low, but we got some good slipstream, and this should not be too hard of a move into turn 1. We're gonna be braking much later and move up to P11 once again behind Istvan Pukki, or championship rival or championship team rival. And on to lap 6 now. You can see it has dried up a lot as we are in P9 at the moment. I think some people have already boxed for slicks. I want to stay out one more lap, and we're going to be boxing here. The Williams guys had to make a tough decision there as well. We're going to be double stacking here, so once again we're going to be losing time, but I felt like we would be losing
warning there.
We would be losing less time double stacking than staying out another lap. So out we go once again on to the hards. Now, hards are not great around Mexico, and on a drying track they're not going to be great as well. But I felt like the softs and mediums were so much better that if there's going to be a lot of safety cars, we are going to need them. And I felt like if we can get rid of those hards early on, use them up, and then we can go on to any tire we want later on in the race, that will be the perfect scenario. But we will need safety cars for that. So those hards are going to take a while to warm up. We're behind Dylan Warren.
Yeah, that's 3 seconds, by the way.
And yeah, we're going to get some DRS here. So we can just stay in this train for 1 or 2 laps, wait until our tire warm up, and then start going for some moves as David Vince goes down the inside of that Williams. Can't quite make it work. And now we're going to go for the switch back through the final corner. Get some slipstream down the main straight, and perhaps gain 2 positions in one straight. That will be perfect. You can see the Williams is flashing actually, so that means he has less than 10% ERS. We're gonna turn on the overtake button to make this move easy and move up to P10 once again. We did lose a little bit or a few positions by staying out an extra lap. We should have boxed 1 lap earlier, but it is what it is. We are up to P10 again, behind Timbo and Dylan Warren. Dylan has that 3-second time penalty, so that's going to cost him near the end. The time penalties in-game do not get removed in this league. Any time penalty you get in-game will stay there, no matter what. So on to the start of lap 14 we go now. Then we're going to turn on the DRS and get past Timbo into turn 1 with the help of some slipstream as well. Used a bit of my battery on the exit there. And up to P9 we go, behind Dylan Warren now. We get a big slide through turn 1, and now we're 6 seconds behind Istvan Pukki.
You can drive.
As you can hear me joke.
Why are you fighting me?
Dylan very often has my stream on when I'm driving, or when we are both driving. Sometimes if there's a safety car, he would come in chat and type. He did that in the last league race in Brazil, where he messed up his strategy as well. So I was just joking there, nothing serious. You can see we are 6 seconds behind Istvan Pukki, and that's how much we lost with the traffic, with the double stack, because we were right behind Istvan after or before the pit stops, and yeah, now we're 6 seconds behind. So anyone who watches esports a lot knows that 6 seconds is near impossible to make up in equal conditions. Of course, if there's a tire difference, you can make it up, or if there's an ERS difference or a traffic for one person or the other, but that's not the case here. We actually need to make up 5 to 6 seconds on pure pace, and we're gonna try and break the DRS to Dylan Warren here, because I felt like I had much better pace, even though we were on the worst tire. Mexico is one of my favorite tracks, so we're gonna be pushing as hard as we can here to break that DRS, but you can see it's 9.1 tenths, and we need a second as Dylan is getting once again DRS on this little middle straight as I go wide, unnecessary of the track, and get a warning, which is not optimal as well. We do nail the next few corners, but unfortunately we just can't quite build big enough of a gap, and I had to recharge my battery, and still after 28 laps no safety car somehow. Usually in this league there would have been 3 safety cars already, because usually it's quite a lot of chaos. I think the safety car is set to increase as well. And yeah, usually there's quite a lot of incidents across a 100% league race, of course. Into Sector 2 we go around the outside of the Red Bull and up to P7 we go. And you can see how far we are behind our teammate, which has been driving around in clean air, and he's almost heading into Sector 3. We are over 12 seconds behind him at the moment, all because of traffic. Yeah, it's so frustrating that even though we have good pace, we've set the fastest lap multiple times this race, we are still only P7 and 12 seconds behind our teammate, and I think a whole pit stop behind the leader. I think we're close to 20 seconds behind the leader. So yeah, thus far this race has been a complete disaster, and now we're gonna try and just continue pulling the gap to the Red Bull behind us, but he's gonna get DRS in the next two straights, and you can see our straight line speed is not great at the moment. He's gonna probably overtake us there. There's nothing we can do because we don't have the straight line speed to really do anything, and we almost touch. And I'm trying to do something there. Dylan's staying behind, as the Red Bull is flashing as well. Has no ERS, so very frustrating here. We're once again not gonna get DRS on this next straight, and we're just gonna have to stick behind. Almost 3 laps later now, you can see we're still behind both of them. And yeah, Dylan told me after the race, well, he had terrible race pace, and we're just being held up once again so bad. But on a track where there are 3 DRS zones, if you've got no ERS, there's no way you can get past and pull away, because the DRS zones will just keep you with someone that has way superior pace. So we're gonna go down the inside in turn 1 once again and go for the move. And now perhaps we can get past the Red Bull. We can't because we're too far behind. Dylan is once again going for it. Dylan, knowing he has worse race pace, obviously trying to keep us behind as much as he can, because that means we will get less points from this race, and that's obviously good for them. It is a team championship at the end of the day, so only P8 at the moment after 32 laps of torture. And you can see we were only 4 seconds behind Eastman at some point, and within 3 laps we've just lost like 3.5 seconds. So very frustrating, but not much we can do about it. All we can do is just keep pushing flat out and see if we can close the gap and perhaps get Istvan later on in this race. It looks like our teammate Danny Bresnay and Thomas Gall are really far away, and then there's another group of 3 cars that's 5 or 6 seconds ahead of them. So suboptimal race for us at the moment, and you can see I do not want to use any more of my battery because I do not want to be in a position again that we have to stick 4 or 5 laps behind cars that are going so much slower than us. As Dylan went for a little move into turn 1, and again I just didn't do anything. Didn't use my battery because I would just want to stay ahead, but now it started raining, and yeah, in the rain it's much harder to pass other cars, especially if they're similar skill level to you, and there's no way we could afford to let Dylan pass, because in the rain we would be a lot longer stuck than 3, 4, 5 laps, unless we would have a lot better race pace. So we're going to be boxing this lap onto the inters for sure. We won't have to double stack this time around because we're almost pit stop distance behind, and we still have DRS, so that helps us a little bit, getting closer to the Red Bull ahead of us.
Right, let's have you in at the end of this lap, please.
And maybe go for a move on the outlap on the inters, because the Red Bull is a lot slower relative to us as well. So I reckon overtaking him would not be too hard. But we're 8 seconds behind Istvan now as we pull into the box for a fresh set of intermediates. Dylan boxing behind us as well, and I think he will have to wait a little bit for his pit crew, because Istvan is only 8 seconds ahead, of course. And yeah, as you can see there, he did lose a little bit of time. So now back onto the intermediates we go, and it's gonna be a full push. It is gonna dry up before the end of the race again, and we're gonna try and go for a move instantly here into turn 1 because DRS is still enabled, and we're gonna turn on the overtake with that as well, and into turn 1 it's gonna be...
was trying to hold me up for sure.
Into turn 1 we go, and that's gonna be a relatively easy pass because this turns to the outside, but back to the inside for this one, and we still almost had DRS. And as you can see there, DRS got disabled right there and then, unfortunately. But we still got moved on. And now finally, we can just push for a few laps. We are 17 seconds behind Thomas Gal, 16.6 to be exact, and over 8 seconds behind Istvan Pukki. So we've got quite a job to do here. However, 13 laps later, and you can see that we have caught up to Istvan Pukki. We have caught up 5 seconds to Thomas Gal as well, but he's still 11 seconds behind. Istvan struggling in these conditions. You can see he lost the rear twice in the space of 3 corners, and we're gonna go for the move into turn 1 down the inside, and that's gonna be easy peasy lemon squeezy P6 for us. I used my battery quite a lot there just to make sure I was gonna get past, and now we got 10 seconds to gain in 24 laps to go, 23 at the end of this one. So we're gonna have to gain around half a second per lap if we want to catch up against a few of the best esports drivers in the world. Thomas Gal, too young to be in esports at the moment, but for sure will be in F1 esports in the near future with his pace. And you can see Ben Zabel-Conje in P4, 10 seconds ahead. Now you can see in the bottom left that they are boxing for slicks. We're gonna stay out at least one more lap, so I felt like this would be too early. We're not gonna get held by our teammate anyway, so we got a complete free choice of when we want to box, and they have gone onto the softs. We're gonna be going onto the softs as well, because we got still 3 new sets of softs anyway, so we can use whatever we want. I felt like softs would be the best decision, and you can see 1 lap later we are gonna be boxing behind our teammate and Channa Kinsey. So onto the softs we go, full battery. We have pulled a relatively decent gap to Istvan Pukki behind us. 2.7 seconds he's behind us. So this was a mega stint for us. We gained 10 seconds to Istvan, and I think around 8 seconds to Thomas Gal and Ben Zabel-Conje. So good stint for us. Now it's just that we are still gonna have to gain 8 seconds in the space of 15 laps, and that is still around half a second every single lap non-stop. Now, to make it even harder, they have got DRS every single lap from each other as well, and they can just keep repassing each other because DRS is so strong around here. 3 DRS zones with a double detection, so you can pass each other in one straight and then pull away on the second one, and then the car in second doesn't even have a lot of dirty air. So you can see lap 71 now. We did catch up, but we only managed to get the gap down to 2.5 seconds. Not enough to gain another position. We did increase the gap to Istvan Pukki behind us a lot, up to 11 seconds and 14 after penalty. So this was just one of those races where you're the fastest on the grid and the result is just completely shit. But that's part of it.
Why did Blood retire on the last lap?
You can see Istvan actually retired on the last lap there because he ran out of fuel. And yeah, I'm not sure why he retired actually, because on the F1 games, if you run out of fuel, you can still keep driving. And you know, with the gap he had, he could have at least got 1 point. But yeah, Dylan Warren at P7 now, 30 seconds behind us. It was one of my best races pace-wise, but the result is not there, and that's just because we made some poor decisions early on in the race, and that cost us so much lap time. But those races happen. It's still P6, we still got points, we still finished the race, and that's important sometimes as well. So P6 it is, 8 points, and yeah, we gained big points actually to Ferrari as well. Danny in P2, 3 seconds behind the leader, 6 seconds actually before penalties. He got the fast lap as well. So that's 19 points for him, 8 points for me. And Ferrari only got 4 points from that race after Istvan retiring. So still a very good race result. Maybe not a very good race result, but still a good point gain for us relative to Ferrari. And these are the races, even though they're very frustrating, you just have to finish them. You can see the gap to P7 was actually 36 seconds. Crazy gap. But hope you guys enjoyed this very disappointing league race for me nonetheless. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Ciao.